Hi everyone. In the last presentation, we have started the topic called string methods in Python. In that session, we have said that there are approximately 45 string methods in Python. Among those, we have started discussing the important methods. The first one we have discussed is strip. In that strip method, we have discussed the variations called lstrip, next rstrip. After completing that, next we have started split method and also rsplit. Next, we have discussed about the join method. Other than this, we have replace method, count method, index method, find method, and rfind method. Next, we are going to discuss the capitalize, is alpha, is numeric, is digit, is decimal. There are so many functions, or we can say string methods, are there in the Python. So in today's session, we are going to implement all the string methods practically by using Python ideally. Let us discuss each and everything practically. Now we are going to discuss the first string method called strip. Let us take the string in double quotes. You can also use single quotes. And I'm giving some spaces after this. I'm typing the string called LearnNCode. And again, I'm giving some spaces. After this dot, string dot, I'm giving the string in double quotes, next dot, and I'm typing the method called strip and parenthesis. Now, once you press enter, what happened? Leading three spaces at the same time, trailing three spaces are removed. This is a general example of strip method. Now, if you apply the same method for rstrip, then we are going to see what happens. Now, here I'm copying the string. Now, here, if I write rstrip, see, rstrip removes only the empty spaces, or it removes the empty spaces from the right. What about the left spaces? They remain as it is. Now, if you press enter, the right side three spaces are removed. Okay. Now, assume that here instead of using rstrip, here I am writing lstrip. In this case, the leading three spaces are removed. See here, leading three spaces are removed, but the what is the trailing three spaces are remaining as it is. This is the main difference between lstrip and strip. But if you use only strip, it both deletes the leading spaces and the trailing spaces. Now we are going to discuss about how to remove the characters, leading characters, at the same time trailing characters. If you want to remove at a time both leading and trailing characters, then we have to use the concept of strip by specifying the character in single quotes or double quotes. Assume that I'm going to use, I'm going to copy the string here, same learn and code I'm giving. Here in the strip, in the parenthesis, I'm mentioning just single quotes. I'm not giving even one space. So when you mention single quotes without empty space, it is going to take empty. Empty in the sense it's not going to remove any character. If you don't mention single quotes, then it treats in parenthesis as the empty space and it is going to remove. But when you mention by wantedly single quotes, it's not going to remove either trailing or leading spaces. If you see this, everything is printed as it is. There is no removal of the spaces. This you have to carefully identify. Now assume that here I'm using some symbols like this, at the rate symbols I'm using. After this, I'm typing the string like this, learn and code. Now, again, I'm typing the at the rate symbol, double quotes and dot strip. Now, here I'm mentioning in single quotes at the rate symbol. In this case, what happened? The leading at the rate characters at the same time trailing at the rate characters are removed. You see here. Okay. Now, if you apply the same for, you can also apply the same for L strip and R strip. Control V. Here I'm using R strip. Then what happened? Right side characters are removed. Okay. Now, if you take L strip, what happened? The left side at the rate characters are removed. Now, let us take another string, learn and code. Okay. Now, double quotes. Here, what I'm going to mention is I'm using strip. Instead of giving only single characters, I'm going to give multiple characters, like assume that L, E, D. For example, I'm giving like this. In this case, what happens? First, it is going to take the characters which are mentioned in the strip. Here, how many characters are there? Three characters, L, E, D. Now, it is going to search these characters, any one of these characters from the starting. you take from here, it is capital L. Small l is not matched with capital L. Okay, no match. When there is no match from the beginning, it is going to search from the right side. Now, what is the first character from the right? E. E is there in the mentioned strip method. Yes, it is removed. Next, D is there. It is also removed. So, whenever we get O, then it stops. Okay. Now, what it is going to display is learn and CO. You see here, learn and CO. This is a way of removing the characters or specified characters either from what you say leading or trailing. Let us take another example. For example, what I'm going to do is in double quotes, here I'm going to give some space. After that, I'm mentioning some hash, again hash, hash, three hashes. After that, I'm typing the same string, learn and code. Now here I'm using hash, double quotes. Here I'm mentioning strip. I want to remove the characters called hash. Now, when you mention this, what happened? The leading hashes are not removed. Only the trailing hashes are removed. Why? Because as I said that it is going to search from the beginning. When you search from the beginning, it takes the empty space. Empty space is not matched with the hash. That's why it is going to stop from the beginning. Now it is going to start from the end. Two hash symbols from the end are removed. This is the way of using the strip method. Okay. We have discussed about strip, lstrip, and rstrip. Now let us discuss the second string method called split. As we have discussed in theory, a split method is going to take the string as an argument and it converts that string into list of items. Let us take the string. Here I'm taking the string welcome to learn and code. This is the string. Next dot, I'm mentioning the split and parenthesis. See, the syntax of the split method consists of two parameters. The first one is the separator and second one is the maximum split. It indicates the number of splits. Here I didn't mention the separator and also the count, maximum split count. Those are optional parameters. So when you don't mention the separator and the count, the separator by default comes under the space. Okay. Depending upon the number of spaces, it is going to generate total list of items. The how many splits? So it is going to read all the string and it's going to convert the entire string into the list of items. It depends upon the size of the string. So here, how many spaces are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Total, how many words are there? 5 words are there. Now it is going to generate the 5 items. You see here, 5 items. Okay. Now let us take the same string, same statement here, Control C, and here Control V. Now see, empty parenthesis is similar to giving the empty space in single quotes. This is very, very important. Same output we are getting. See here. See, it is not similar to the statement like this. See here, I'm not giving any space, even single space. Now it is going to get an error. Please remember this. Now, okay, for example, if I say here, there is no L split, please remember this. By why? Because the split by default moves from the left to right. Split automatically comes under L split, but there is no variation called L split. But here, when you say R split, then what happened? The split is starting from the right. That means first word code, next N, next learn, next to, next welcome. So even though you move from R split or you move from the right to left, and when you give the empty space here, there is no difference in the output. Same output we are going to get. Now, assume that here instead of using this empty space, you can also use any other character. Assume that here I'm using the character hash. Here I'm removing the space and using a hash. Okay. Now after this, here also I'm using hash, using the character called hash. Next here I'm using hash. Now in this space, you mention hash, hash character I'm mentioning. Now you see here. What happens? Same thing I'm getting, but here the separator is hash. Previously, if you don't mention anything, separator is empty space. For example, I'm copying the same string, Control C and Control V. Here, if I say rsplit, now here I'm mentioning the count, maximum count. You see here. Now you are going to get the different output. So now it is going to generate the list of items like this. How rsplit means moving from the right. First, it is moving from EDOC. See, whenever it encounters the hash, it indicates the first split. What is the first split? Code. Okay, now that means the last word is code. Next hash, whenever it encounters the next hash, then n is the second word from right to left. Okay, now after this, what about the remaining code? Already we have done two splits. First split from right is code, second one is n. What about the last one? The last one is treated as the final string that is remained. Means after giving the two splits, whatever the string that is remained comes under the last item. You see here. Now, when you observe this, code is the first item from the right, n is the second item from the right. Now, this is the remaining string. Okay, so when we are moving from right to left, so this becomes the first item, this is the second item, then this third item. But we are moving from right to left. For example, I'm taking the same string. Here you mention the split 2, and here I'm writing lsplit. Lsplit is, for example, I'm writing lsplit. I'm mentioning the count also. Now, in this case, there is no lsplit. Please remember this. As I said that there is no lsplit, don't use this. Just I'm copying this. Here I'm pasting, but what I'm going to do here is instead of using lsplit, just you have to use only split. That's enough. There is no lsplit. So in this case, what happened? First, it takes welcome from the beginning. Now, after getting the hash, first split completed. Next to 2, and next, whenever it reads the second hash, second split is completed. Now, what about these last remaining string? The remaining string comes under the third item. You see here. Welcome to. These are the two splits. After that, whatever the string is available, that comes under the final item. This is the way of using the split method and also our split method. Okay, now we are going to discuss the next one, join. Now let us see the join method. What the join method is going to do here is, join method takes the iterable as an object. Important thing you should remember here is iterable. What do you mean by an iterable? It is any object that consists of a list of items. A list of items are joined into a single string. Please remember that a list of items of an iterable. It can be a list, or it can be a tuple, it can be a set, it can be the dictionary. All the items are joined into a single string, separated by some separator. Okay, you can use any separator, so it simply joins them. Let us see one example. Take the iterable L1. L1 is equals to, in square brackets, you can take any item. The first item is learn, comma, second item is n, comma, third item is code. I'm giving the list L1, which consists of three items. First one is learn, second one n, third one is code. Here, what is the separator? Comma is the separator, right? So already comma is there. Instead of using comma, you can also use some other operator or separator in the join method. For example, if you use same comma as a separator, there is no change in the output. Okay, but here assume that I'm using join, and the argument here I'm using is L1. So in this case, what happened? It takes L1, means learn and code, three items. It converts all the three items into a single string, which is enclosed in single quotes. But within the string, comma is the separator. Already it is there in L1, but again we are using the same thing in join. You see here. Okay, in single quotes, three items are joined. What is the separator here? Comma. Assume that if you don't want to use comma, you can also use different separator. Take the same string, Control V. Here I'm using some space. You can also use space. Now what you are going to get spaces. For example, in place of comma, you can also use hyphen. Now the three items learn and code are joined using the separator hyphen. You can use anything, not only hyphen, you can also use underscore. You can use this, learn and code. This is a way of using the join method. But here we are taking L1 as a list. You can use list or dictionary and anything. Let us take the dictionary D is equals to. Now here I'm writing name. Here I'm taking his name, single quotes. Now what is the name? Assume that name is Srinu, okay? Comma. This is the first item. And second item I'm taking is surname, okay? Now colon in single quote. Here I'm using surname as this. Okay. So I have declared the dictionary D. Now I'm using anything you can use as the separator. You can use and or you can also give the text as a separator. For example, here I'm using and as the separator dot join. In bracket, I'm giving the iterable name D. In this case, what happened? First item is name, means the first represents the key. Okay, value totally depends upon the key, right? Just you have to mention the key values, name and surname. Now, what it is going to display is name and surname. You see here, name and surname. This is the way of joining the items of the dictionary using the join method. So, in the next session, we are going to see the replace method and other string methods. With this, I'm going to close the session. Thank you for watching.